Doo-doo-doo-doo, doo-doo-doo-doo. Rich School, Poor School by Milad Amani. So, let's click this on. Actually, I think that makes sense. Bookie. I think I have some content. I know what to do. This is a series I'm calling Rich School, Poor School. This week is all about undoing conditioning. And I guess the point is to help people recognize hidden rules within themselves without feeling any shame. Let's get into it. I'll be covering a couple topics and hopefully one of them can help you. So, the first topic is the survival mindset. Some people are raised to push beyond the limit, and others are just raised to survive. When survival is a priority, you learn how to be grateful, careful, and quiet because the mindset keeps you safe, but it limits your growth. That's because growth feels risky when stability is not guaranteed. So, survival is intelligent, but it's not the same as growth. I can agree with that. I never knew the difference growing up because to me, survival was the natural and only way of living life. My parents would work to be able to pay the bills and not to invest into a property or stocks. It's just something that was never discussed. You become risk averse because the risk of not being able to pay your bills tomorrow outweighs the idea of growing. And also, you don't know how to grow. No one is telling you how to grow. So it is true, and it is something that is very difficult to get out of. I think that's only able once you feel a level of stability where you're comfortable to grow. But reaching that stage is very different for different people. So evaluate where you are in your own life and how you can get out of that mindset of just getting by. Moving on to the second topic, asking for help without guilt. My name is Milad. I went to a state school, and this is definitely one of the things that I needed explaining. Some people ask for help early on and casually, whereas others wait to be overwhelmed because they feel that asking for help is like being a burden. And when you are raised to need to be self sufficient, you sometimes feel undeserving of that help. Or even worse, you feel that you might be let down. But asking for help is not a charity, it's actually how the system works. So if you feel uncomfortable asking for help, that's conditioning, not a weakness. I think this is true because the same as you might feel like you're asking for a handout, but that's not what's happening. What you're doing is you are showing awareness that you need help. And what I've realized growing up, especially when I went to university and I started working in the professional world, people love to help. I just thought people were quite selfish in their information, but actually, when you're genuine in your request and you've thought about it succinctly and you've now hit a wall, then it's not an issue to ask for help. The lesson is two things: ask for help always, but don't ask the same question twice because it then shows that you weren't listening the first time or you said that you understood when you didn't. And that's quite frustrating. So don't ask the same question twice. Let's move on to the next topic, which is confidence against competence. This is a controversial opinion, but the workplace does not promote the most competent person. Instead, they promote the one that's certain. Competence keeps you employed, but confidence gets you moving up the ranks because confidence is not about knowing more. It's actually about speaking before being certain. And confidence is loud, whereas competence tends to be quiet. So we need to get out of this mindset of being quiet. You need to be vocal and certain about what you know. I've sat in an assessment center, and this guy, he a successful business selling ties in LA. And me, I had no work experience and I didn't really know what to say about myself. And he just owned the room. And with reflection, I don't think is that he owned the room because of the tie business, is that he was so confident in everything he was saying. He was detailed. He was talking about ties in a law interview. And somehow still he felt more suitable for the role than myself. And then I learned that day that confidence plays such a big role. And having been on, let's flip it, having been on the interview side, when I've interviewed candidates for specific roles, I'll definitely say that you really want to give someone quiet a chance. You really do, especially if their CV is amazing. But you can't. It's not possible because they haven't said anything. So what you're doing is you're filling gaps for things of, oh, if they said this, then that would have been amazing. So you can immediately, it's not necessarily, it doesn't mean that the confident person will get hired. It's that the quiet person will definitely not be hired. So we need to rejig our mindset to be more confident, even if we're not too sure, because you have more chance of being hired if you say something than if you say nothing. So next topic I'm going to discuss is guilt around wanting more. Well, my name is Milad. I am a lawyer in the city, and I can safely say that this is something I had to unlearn. When you grow up with less, wanting more feels selfish. You are told to be grateful and not ask for too much. But ambition is not greed. You have a responsibility to your future self to be ambitious. So gratitude shouldn't cap your ambition. I can't lie, writing that, I felt like the man. Did you hear what I said? Gratitude should not cap your ambition. What does that mean? Well, maybe we feel like we need to stay in our place or we need to be put in our place when we talk out of turn or something like that. The issue is that it does keep it that way. We maintain status quo and that way you will never excel. You have a responsibility to your future self to want everything for yourself. Don't feel guilty about it because no one else does and no one else cares, by the way. Wanting more is only your responsibility. No one else can go do it for you. No one else is going to feel like you deserve more. So we need to undo that conditioning that maybe I shouldn't ask for that promotion. Maybe I shouldn't ask for that raise. I'm already content with what I have. I don't want to mess this up. If you feel that way, what you're doing is you're settling. So you need to think about what your ambitions are and ask. Because if you don't ask, you don't get. That's it. So I think if anything from today's episode, I want you to understand, and this is my strongest belief, is that ambition is not greed. That self-belief of wanting more does go to the next topic, which is about redefining intelligence. This is something I learned later on in life, which is schools reward one type of intelligence, but they overlook other types, such as the ability to adapt, the ability to be resilient, even doing pattern recognition. So many people are not late bloomers. They're just mislabeled, where the system is not built to see them. So you're not behind, you were just unseen. And as you grow up, you realize that maybe university is not for everyone, but somehow they became millionaires. And that's what I'm trying to say is that find your niche. We easily just call ourselves stupid because we felt one thing. You need to be able to understand yourself, where you can excel, where you can improve, and really know how to make use of your own strengths. And I think because school is unable to identify your intelligence, you also struggle identifying your own intelligence. The best example is chess masters or grandmasters, as they call them. They're known to be one of the smartest people in the planet because of their foresight, their ability to see what's going on from the other person's perspective. I saw a YouTube clip where they asked them general knowledge questions about geography, maths, I think one more topic that I don't remember. And none of them knew the capital of England. The point is that, sure, they're intelligent in the world of chess. And they found their niche where they can really excel. And that's amazing because that makes them money and they feel self-fulfilled. They're not trying to be geographers. Find your niche. You're all smart. The question is, what kind of smart? Moving on to the next one. Ooh, this is something I tell my sisters. This was something I tell my friends. And I hate feeling like my laziness is the reason why, or my discomfort towards something is the reason why I missed out on something. And this is the cost of staying small. Staying small feels safe, not asking questions, not applying to any jobs, sticking to yourself, which avoids opportunity to be rejected or feeling uncomfortable. But the expensive cost of safety is that you're delaying your own potential because time is passing regardless. So the quiet cost of caution is your time. And I think about that all the time. I reflect and I think, what was I doing in that meantime? Oh, I was sleeping late, watching Netflix, going to see my friends. And sure, from a social aspect, I was fulfilled. But with hindsight, I don't think I missed out on much because we weren't up to any good. We weren't doing charity or helping ourselves grow as a person. And sure, it felt comfortable. It felt easy, normal, but your 20s is supposed to be all about growing, trying different things because you don't have the same responsibility you might have in the future of kids, a wife, husband, whatever, or even elderly parents where you then maybe have to take care of them because right now they can stand on their own 2 feet. I think we're all destined for greatness. So don't be your own inhibitor. Of course, there's external factors as to why something doesn't work out. But if you are the reason why something doesn't work out, you're the problem. Especially if you're spending that time doing something not helpful to yourself at all. And again, that is something that we need to undo in our mindset, that we need to always stay in our comfort zone. It's frustrating to see my friends when I see they have so much potential and they waste it because, oh, this looks embarrassing, or this might not work out, or this, every negative point apart from doing it. And I say to them, 99% of people say they're going to do something, and 1% of people actually do it. And you feel better having tried something than have never tried. I'm not saying I'm going to be successful from this series. I'm not even looking for success, but I'll beat myself up if I don't at least try. I want to help as many people as possible, and that's just it. And which is quite serious, but you have to learn from people that have taken this route, from millionaires, billionaires, whatever it is, or if they're really successful at something in a way that matches your definition of success. But whatever it is, don't wait for tomorrow. Do everything you want to do today, and you won't regret that. You'll never regret having tried something, but you will regret having not tried something. I don't know how much of this footage we're going to use because I did ramble on a bit, but I just feel so strongly about the fact that we miss out on so many opportunities because we're just taught to just stay in our comfort zone. And I know we're capable of so much. Anyway, moving on. And a good way to close the circle is we're finishing up with a reflection point on undoing conditioning. I'll definitely say, as a former state school student, a lawyer in the city, a asylum seeker, refugee, whatever, I've had to unlearn more than I've had to actually learn. Because most of what holds people back isn't knowing more, it's these inherited rules inside of us. Rules around silence, rules around safety, rules around gratitude. And once you start realizing that, you start acting different too. So unlearning is a skill that is learnable. And I think self-reflection is really important in your journey of changing for the better, I hope. I'll definitely say that these are all conditioning that I had to face myself and I had to then unlearn it. And luckily, it is doable, but it is a skill that you need to start doing by actually becoming more self aware and humbling yourself by watching others who are excelling in their life and really think, what are they doing different to me? And maybe it involves getting out of your comfort zone and asking them to give you advice. It is daunting, but you won't regret it. And the worst thing they can say is no. And it's in your head. No one cares. If you ask them tomorrow, they'll forget about you. You're not that important. So ask the questions you want to ask. I think 7 topics that I discussed, or 6 or 7 topics I discussed, those are all conditioning that we were taught probably in state school that we need to unlearn. And people in private school probably got taught most of those topics already. So it's not something they need to overcome, but maybe they need to realize that they already have that amazing advantage where perhaps they could help out people that went to state school in a way that they can get to the answer quicker. If this helped you see things more clearly, then like, comment, and subscribe.